want the film to speak for itself. That's it.
That's excellent.
That's it. I don't want to. I don't want to pitch it. I don't want to. I'm not a politician. I'm a filmmaker. That's it.
Son of a bitch! You're not one of us!
Belgrade Beat, the pulse of the city.
Hi there, folks. Welcome to Belgrade Beat, and I am in a cafe in Deutschland called Dzezva here, who have been kind enough to let us film this today. And I'm with Drago, Daniel, and Marianne from the film Little Milo.
Hi.
Who have come to premiere or to show their film at the festival, Merlinka, here in Belgrade. And so tell us, how does it feel to be here in Belgrade? You were born in Yugoslavia,
right,
and of Serbian descent. You grew up in Los Angeles, and now you live in Shanghai, China.
Yeah, we're all from Shanghai. We live in Shanghai.
Yeah, Shanghai Landers.
Yeah, Shanghai Landers.
That's us.
I'm Drago, and this is Marianne. This is Daniel.
Hi.
Hi. How you guys? How you doing? So yeah, so we're here for a film festival called
The
Belgrade Film
Merlinka.
Festival, and we're very excited about being here.
Yeah, okay. And so how did you end up at this film festival with your film? And if you could just give me the elevator pitch for your film.
Go ahead.
Really
You want to do
quickly.
that? Daniel's good at that.
You're the producer, right? So
Sure, well,
sell it.
all right, well, so basically we were looking at making a very avant-garde film that was going to be a social and political commentary on the current state of affairs that's going on in Europe and the United States, that focuses on the journey of a young gay man during the 2016 elections that resulted in the winning of Donald Trump. So this young man goes on a journey where he's typically from a stereotypical LGBT point of view of being a bit more on the left side, and he gets influenced by the provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos and decides to go fully right. And it shows how society and the entire community there responds to his new change and his character development, and it results in some very strong and controversial dialogue and response.
Okay, so you call it a red pill film, and that's a reference to The Matrix, right?
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, it comes from that film where the blue
you
pill
have you have two choices. You have the
go back to
blue-
sleep or become
right,
awakened.
or wake up and go down the rabbit hole, and we don't know how deep the rabbit hole is. So,
Okay.
So that's basically where the whole genre comes from. The red pill film genre
Yeah.
is that, and this film, Little Milo, is a red pill film genre, the first one.
Okay,
So, yeah.
and you're planning on making more.
Yeah, more of this
Okay.
type of genre.
So how has living outside of the Western world influenced your perspective on looking back into the West and seeing the developments such as the election of Trump or Brexit and stuff? How has that influenced? Like I feel the same. Like in Serbia, I feel like I'm looking back onto a world I used to
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
Like I used to live in Canada, and looking back, the society is massively departed from when I left it. And even back then, I was frustrated about some aspects of, for example, the media and all this sort of blue pill thinking that people prefer to. So how has living in China influenced you?
If we actually shot the film in LA or Berkeley, we cheated like it was Berkeley. We shot it in Shanghai, but treated basically as it was Berkeley. I really don't think we could have done the film with this type of dialogue, this type of subject matter, with actors, because it's controversial.
It's controversial.
Yeah.
What's so controversial about it? If you can give me one scene as an example of why.
Marianne.
I mean, okay.
To have everybody participate.
Marianne, come on.
Oh, okay.
Marianne.
I mean, there's a lot of controversial scenes. It sort of holds a lot of symbolism, and for the audience, it depends on where they are and how they see the general.
Come on, give me something juicy. What happens
Well,
in the
the
film?
ending is quite interesting. I don't want to say the ending, but it's very controversial.
Well, I think when
With angels.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
that's what I wanna
it's
give
an
you a
art
little
house film, and there's a lot of aspects to it that is controversial, because it covers quite a lot for such a short film. You've got Milo Yiannopoulos, which is controversial as he is, and what his statements are, and then you've got like images of Trump, so that's already people react to that
I could
as
even
well.
say it very simply from points of views of different people that have actually watched the film. Like, You know, I have friends that don't want to watch it because it's just LGBT and they're feeling uncomfortable. I have people that watch it and see just a quote or a link of Trump and they feel like, whoa, 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 I hate Trump so much that I don't even want to see it in a film. And then they see things of Milo, who is basically somewhat of a pariah now, and they're like, well, what's going on here? And then you get deeper onto the story and you see the different characters, and you know, there's a lot of clashes where they have really intense dialogues of why are you changing your political stance from the left to the right? And even having that dialogue, I mean, not only does it bring up some things that people, I mean, they are feeling on the inside, but it's also showing the reality of what people are feeling on the inside, and do they really want that spoken about out loud in a dialogue?
Yeah.
Now, do you believe that maybe the left and the right, in this age of more freer information on the internet and YouTube and stuff, do you believe that the traditional paradigm of left and right, as portrayed by the media, is even valid anymore?
Is it valid?
I mean, because it seems to be a thing. Like, I went to politics for 1 year in York University in Canada, and I was so bored by the fact that there was just like left wing, right wing, where I think there's nuances and what. You know, it's like, okay, so there's obviously lots of left-wing sorts of agendas in society and right-wing, but previously when I was a teenager, it was like, you know, the right-wing that was trying to ban Marilyn Manson concerts and stuff like that.
And now, free speech.
Now it's the left that seems to be trying to tell you how to police your language and all of that stuff. So,
I mean, the whole idea for writing the film was basically, from my perspective, is how politics destroys relationships.
Yes.
That's where I'm coming from. It's not siding from left or right, it's just from the human perspective. That's what, from an artist, filmmaker, human perspective.
And now is this something that you've experienced in your life as well?
Yes, I think we all experience that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, in society, with strangers, we can't just talk about politics, right?
I know. I
don't know what will trigger you.
No. Like, honestly, like me personally in my life, yesterday I posted an interview with the Prime Minister of Serbia, who's actually, she's a lesbian, and I posted in my posting the interview that she's a lesbian, and then one of the people I know from Canada, never even hung out one-on-one with this person, wrote on the post, why do you need to mention that she's a lesbian? I'm like, well, it's actually, for one, very relevant in this country, and I didn't even like want to get into that discussion because it's just like, So do you feel that politics is something more and more in the West is being discussed behind closed doors?
Politics is dividing people.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. I mean, and I think when it comes to free speech and talking to each other, I think that we should do that. We should just have it open and just discuss whatever you want, but not be emotional about it. Just trying to find the truth, right? That's all we want.
But now on the internet, there is lots of that. There are lots of people, like right now we're sitting here and we're broadcasting this, you know, to a channel that has 7,000 subscribers in a city of 2 million people or whatever, and we're putting this out there, and we might get some, you know, backlash or whatever.
Right.
I mean, but the sort of thing that I really enjoy about this day and age is that if you want content that tailors to your own viewpoint, no matter how niche it is, then you can sort of tune into that on the internet. So do you feel that your movie is actually tailored to any sort of niche? Or do you think it's for, you know, what sorts of people are your target audience with this film?
Free thinkers.
Free thinkers.
That's it.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to know about or think outside the box or their agenda, just anyone basically.
Okay.
Adults, really adults, not made for young.
Okay, so what's it like in living in China, and what box are the people there living in? It would be the next question.
I mean, China is an amazing country. It's I mean, I personally believe that strategically it would be a great superpower, and because of so many innovations happening right now, and the opportunity to work with the West and combine East, you know, I think it's an amazing time for them.
Well, I think the opportunity that for the West doing business with China is fiercely underestimated in the West, whereas, you know, I'm certainly looking at it for my business ventures, but at the same time, China isn't the most free speech friendly environment, right? So do you feel that as a foreigner living there? Like, do you feel internet censorship as a factor in your lives and stuff? Or maybe you don't want to say because you live there.
Well, you know, this will always be an issue because you know, the government has the censorship with how people deal with news and media and free thinking.
But really, which country doesn't?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's just the way they do things there that keep things about China very close to them.
And honestly, when has it ever been a democracy, you know? And how really democratic are the Western countries? Is what I always ask myself.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Right. That's the very dangerous point. Is now everything is being censored from left or right speech to different points. And even China, the thing is, I feel more free in China to speak about whatever I want, as long as it's not about the Chinese government, about the West, about Europe, about what's going on there, than I do in the United States or Europe. Sure. I can't say anything that could be a little bit controversial or have a dialogue with anyone without someone getting angry, without someone like really...
Even probably most of the people that you know back home are pretty much, and I watch it every day on CNN and all these channels, like brainwashed to hate Trump. Like literally every single thing is a negative news thing, and no counterbalance to that anymore. And it's like it's almost like a dystopian thing. Like this is the man that America has chosen to hate, and that you're a bad person if you love him. Right. And it's like,
that's kind of sad,
I don't love or hate any politician, but it's really like, and also the whole thing, you know, okay, in some countries they will just, you know, chop people's hands off, or if they try to sing a protest song on a guitar somewhere. And I feel like in America and Canada, where I grew up, you don't even need to censor people because people just won't listen to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
And, you know, even Serbia has similar issues that people are talking a lot, specifically over this weekend. You probably heard a lot about it.
Right.
Political censorship and violence and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, what is this world we're living in? And is anybody really in control of it? Or is it just people who are kind of foolish to try to control? Well, especially in the age of the internet.
Well, the power of media is, you know, they have a great responsibility to information. And but it really is about how people take on their messages and who they are in their own development. So if you don't want to be constantly be fed by, you know, external information, then you have to be so much more discerning these days.
Well, you need to eat. You know, it's choosing the good food to eat intellectually, I think. And I don't know. You guys probably heard the term intellectual dark web. And all these podcasters and stuff who are really producing these long format things, like actually one from Canada is Jordan Peterson, who's doing great things from an intellectual perspective. Right. Now, does your movie actually approach it from an intellectual perspective or more of an existential perspective in the storyline?
More artistic.
More artistic. I mean, arts is a good way to actually broadcast any message. Right. And that's what artists have been doing for, you know, centuries and through history. And under that guise, that's how people are being, you know, they appreciate what's out there in terms of.
It's a reflection. We're just showing a reflection to society as filmmakers.
That's
our job.
I think this is the most important way to actually spread that message, rather than arguing with your friends, rather than going on social media and bashing each other, even trying to have a dialogue. I don't even go on social media to do that. It's just silly. That just results in
unfriending people.
No, but that's just there is no real end game. It's just, you know, it's going to be a tough dialogue. But if you approach it through the arts, if you approach it through film and let people have their own interpretation on it, I think minds will be expanded. I think we'll actually really have a difference to be able to say, like, we should definitely look at our circumstances. We should look at our situations and be able to have our own opinion and do it through the arts. And the arts, traditional narratives are very standard now. What you can actually put through Hollywood and these other you know, production houses and this whole community, it's very limited. So that's why we said before that, could we make this film in the U.S. Before, to at least the short? No way would we be able to get funding. I mean, people could basically be putting their entire jobs and careers on the line. The actors and also the production house companies that support it, because there's such a bias towards not going after political sensitive topics. So we're very lucky at the end of the day to be in China, where we were able to get funding from international sources.
Wow.
British producers, myself helping without that whole process, and being able to make something where, and I've spoken to many people from both right and left and moderate that really want to tell these stories, and we were one of the first people to really, you know, grab hold of this whole new genre, the red pill genre, of awakening, you know, humanity to this division in the world and in the West.
Yeah, and you know, I think that the people who are really insisting on an ideological level that we censor ourselves like this are a very small minority of the population. And as things like YouTube shift the technology, those people get less and less power. And yeah, basically you can be anywhere in the world spreading any message to any other part of the world now. So you need to go essentially where, as an intellectual or artist, you're treated best, where you're able to go. But there's something to be said for sitting down in interviews like this and telling the meaning of what you do, because I'll just tell you my stories. I've been singing in a band for the last 10 years called the Worldly Savages.
Okay.
And
That's a plug. That's a plug. That's
of
a
course.
plug.
This is my channel. Listen
right.
to my music. I'll probably put it in the intro here. Anyways,
I like the name. I like that it's savage.
anyways, but I found then when I started this YouTube channel and actually put some of the same messages I've been singing about into actual ideas, where there's like a 10-minute video of me explaining why I feel more at home in Serbia, the way I can express myself, that there's less political correctness here, and people suddenly like, wow, I'm getting all these subscribers, all these things. So there's something in the art,
right?
But
Exactly.
I almost feel like you also have to put the art with an explanation of the art, and to sort of, you know, harness your propaganda so it hits on the emotional and rational level and all this stuff, and put it all
From
together.
a human perspective, right? Not preach,
So they can relate,
not to
because
preach, basically.
most of my videos are me walking down the street staring into this thing, explaining my thoughts, which is very
familiar with that, by the way.
which is very intimate, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what made you want to meet me today, right?
Right.
I mean, because you're familiar with this format where I just actually speak my mind, and like, I don't care. You can tell, like, I'm not into the hi-fi thing, and for music, of course, I am. But for you as filmmakers, you need to produce something that's visually appealing and that people can sit and watch entertainment. So, do you feel that? What do you want to tell people before they go into your movie and watch it?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I don't want to tell them. I want the film to speak for itself. That's it.
That's excellent.
That's it. I don't want to. I don't want to pitch it. I don't want to. I'm not a politician. I'm a filmmaker. That's it.
Where can I see it?
You can, well, let's watch the trailer right now.
Okay.
Okay.
You need to stop this racist behavior.
Love is colorblind.
Son of a bitch, you're not one of us.
There's nothing free in this life. You need to stop being politically incorrect. You fucking traitor.
You got grabbed him by the pussy. Never forget that. Just like life.
All right, we're back, folks.
What do you think? About a quick 30-second
I mean,
spot.
it's definitely provocative.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and it's amazing that you've managed to make this in China, and I mean, just the whole thing is going to be surreal to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So tell me about the circuits of film festivals that you're going to.
Oh, that we've been to, actually.
Yeah, we got accepted into the Action on Film Festival, and that was in Las Vegas in August this year.
And how was the reaction in America?
It was actually quite a good reception, because through the eyes of an art house film, they were totally enthralled with it. And so the message kind of like is in how they received it. And we were expecting, you know, a little bit of backlash and stuff
As
like that.
you do.
But actually they were really affected by the film creatively.
If you
know.
package it as art,
Yeah.
That's, but yeah, that's the.
Well, it
also,
has to be art, isn't it? It's a film, right?
Yeah.
It has to be
Yeah.
part of art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And right now we're also in a finalist for Best Short Film in the Golden Film Awards in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that's just happening on the 12th
How
of
long
December.
is the film?
It's 28 minutes.
28 minutes. Oh wow, that's and you must have put a lot of content in that.
Well, it's action packed for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And what's the sort of reaction that you've most cherished to it so far? Like what somebody said to you afterwards. Not to spoil it, but what's the sort of like.
For me, it was the writers. film writers, script writers. They came up to me and they loved it. Other filmmakers, basically.
Yeah.
They were like, "This is a great story." They wish they would have came up with the idea with the red pill film.
Yeah.
And that's the response that I like. You know, other filmmakers, you know, going, "Yeah, that was a great job, good job." You know, thumbs up. That's what I like, actually.
And okay, so, and what did you take away from the whole process of making this film and getting it out there? Are you preparing for the next Red Pill film?
Yeah, we're actually going to do a feature based on the short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's our next plan, and then to continue with this genre, this new genre.
And when will the public be able to see this? Maybe on the internet, maybe for us all around the world.
A year from now. Once we're done with the film festival.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a certain process that if you go and apply to film festivals, it cannot be publicly distributed. So once the film festivals are done and our whole run and this whole adventure, which has brought us to Belgrade, and has brought us to Vegas and bring us around the world, once this finishes, then we'll be able to release it to the public. But by that time also, we expect to have the financing done for the feature film. We'll also have a new rough idea of what the next Red Pill film will be, aside from Little Milo's feature. Right. So we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep the energy, you know, really exciting, and basically be able to create more things that are not violent, that are not, you know, that are not fully mainstream, and that are really thought-provoking to the general audiences. You know, we need something new and fresh, and that's what people have been really asking for. And even to comment more about what hearing some feedback, I found it very interesting to hear from other critics that, you know, they were just very surprised that we tackled racial, gender, everything, stereotypes, and what people are supposed to believe and what people really believe. So having them even just thinking about that, even if they didn't like the film or if they really liked the film, it really made them think. So that was the most important thing that I thought to hear about. They really had to think about it because it really hit them hard.
And have you had anybody who's expressed outrage, as you predicted?
No.
Have you tried to show to the people who you thought would be most outraged?
Yes, they loved it.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Well, because again, it's coming from art, right? It's coming from
it sort of blends
human perspective, you know.
That's the sort of thing, because if you project all these like negative stereotypes, like this guy's, you know, sexist, this guy is homophobic, blah 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 blah, then you stop looking at people as humans, right?
Right.
But as soon as you talk to them and try to listen to their ideas and not be, you know, viewing their personalities through the filter of ideology.
Or not being preachy, basically. Not to preach one side or another, just from a human perspective. And that's where I'm coming from the actual human perspective.
And that's where I come from in YouTube. That's why I make this channel, to give the human perspective on Serbia, on Belgrade, a place that has been demonized as, you know, the black sheep country of Europe. Right. I live here because it's a rich place emotionally to live, where I feel there's lots of potential for exploring the human condition and character and emotions. And it's certainly changed me in the fact that I, after living in this country for the last years, am a much more authentic human being. And I think that, and part of my message has always been that people need to go outside of their culture in order to find themselves. And I've definitely done this by living here, and it sounds like you guys have done the same, living in China,
Shanghai,
and it's great to see this, you know, come as a work of art, and I can't wait to see it finally when you get it out to the world.
We'll be ready, and honestly, I have to say thank you so much, Belgrade. It's been
we love Belgrade.
Phenomenal culturally. I mean, Drago's come back to his homeland from the Diaspora. I mean, this is amazing, and be able to share.
You haven't been here. Okay, let's go through this really quickly. You haven't been here since 2003.
Yes. Yeah.
What was the?
Well, I left. Well, I was born in Mostar, and when 2003 was the first time. Serbian background, complete Serbian background. When 2003, I got here, and it's so different. Belgrade is, I mean, so different.
I see it getting more vibrant every year.
Yes,
absolutely.
It wasn't
dropping a lot of the negativity as well, and I try to be a positive force towards that. So what do you see now, and is this a place where you consider spending more time?
Yes. I would like to do more films in Serbia, actually. I would like to do a film about Kosovo, the war, the Battle of Kosovo in 1389. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they still make movies about that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, that's in a spiritual perspective.
Yeah.
But you
know,
also
like-
have to let them know there is a connection with Yugoslavia and China as well.
Yeah,
through the filmmaking industry too.
Right. The relationship between China and Serbia is very good.
Yeah.
And so
Well, it's
we're gonna try to
strengthening over
capitalize.
these years. They're investing here and
Right.
all this stuff, and
Yes.
even opening up factories, creating jobs for people. So it's very interesting to see that Serbia is reaching out to the rest of the world. If the rest of the world sort of ostracized them
Right,
and is
right.
like, no, you don't quite fit with us. You're that bad country. It's like, well, China, come on.
China, yeah, and
You
also,
know, like-
also during the Cultural Revolution, the films that they were watching was Yugoslav films in China.
Yeah.
I mean, they love.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, The Bridge, Most, Walter Saving Sarajevo. That's another film that the Chinese love these films, and they talk about these.
And they
films every
break out
time.
in song. The old that
They
generation.
break out, yeah.
They
Yeah.
know the songs to the film.
So yeah, the Chinese
that's
they
right.
love it. They love Yugoslav films, and every time I mention I'm Yugoslavian, Naslavu is in Chinese for Yugoslav. They just break into a song.
Wow. Really?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
that
they-
well known?
It's so
This part of
big.
the world that's had that much of an
It's
impact
so
there.
big.
That's amazing.
During the Cultural Revolution, that's all they were watching, Yugoslav films.
And so do you think that people from here should consider going east instead of going west? Everybody here idealizes the west, and, you know, my life would be so great if I lived in Germany, America, Canada, you name it, Australia, New Zealand, you know.
Well, Serbian passport is actually quite good in China. So I think you could stay for what, 90 days?
Yeah, 3 months. 3 months, and you don't even need a visa.
So
You don't
check
need-
it out,
for-
Facebook.
Yeah, check it out.
We're
Definitely.
Americans, and we gotta seriously go with the vetting, and we have the trade war going on.
Yeah,
so it's like
that
it's
kinda
harder for us
sucks.
to get visas.
Yeah.
It is what it
But
is.
still, you're
But
there, and
Yeah.
and nobody's hating on you because of your country.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So for Serbians, come by, take a look at China, come to Shanghai. Yeah,
We-
I
look,
will.
look us up.
I will.
Aaron, you,
Yeah.
You
I just
should.
came from Asia 2
That's
days
right.
ago, but I'm going to try
Vietnam
to
and
drop by.
Thailand, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was over there.
Yeah.
So I'll visit you next time in Shanghai.
And actually, you'll be able to experience a little bit. We have a Balkan barbecue group.
Oh.
So with everyone from Serbia, Croatia, Macedonia, Montenegro, etc., and they have events at least twice a month.
Yeah, you
and
guys
that's
want to
where
go to
we
the
get
Chinese
that. We have
place
rakia.
around the corner? I'm a little sick of the Chavapi, but you guys
that's
might
what
be a
we-
little
that's what
nostalgic
we-
for it. But
No,
you
we
know,
had enough Chinese
just to
food
explain,
for
yeah,
a while.
exactly. So I feel the
Yeah,
same about Serbian
exactly,
food. So I'd rather
exactly,
you
yeah.
take me to your best local place when I come over
Yeah,
there. But
we will, for sure.
So, thanks a lot for doing this, and
Thank you, Eric.
you
Thank
know,
you, guys.
I'll put the link in the description to your
Yeah?
website, and
Okay.
people could keep in touch and hear about you and your film festivals, and hopefully, when the film releases, you'll make the impact that it sounds like your film has the potential to make.
Thank you. Thank
So
you,
thanks
Eric.
a
Thank you
lot.
very much. Thank you.
Doug Beat. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care,
Voila.
guys. Bye now.